Hey everyone, this is Nina from ROADIE Free Radio. In this clip, Larry talks to Erik Rogers. Before Erik was mixing for people like Taylor Swift and Godsmack, he was driving equipment around in exchange for money and beer, until one day a band got too cheap to pay the sound company and recruited Erik instead. The rest is ROADIE history. Here's Erik telling his story. If you want to hear more from Erik, you can listen to the full episode, number 147, from September 23rd, 2019. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Here's Larry and Erik Rogers.
I never really became a musician. I never really learned how to play the guitar. I have guitars. I make noise on them.
Yeah.
But I never really learned how to play. I never really learned how to be in a band or anything like that. But I was bumming around the local music scene in Ohio, and somehow a girl I was dating introduced me to the drummer of a local band. And next thing you know, I'm 19 years old and I'm driving the box truck and pushing cases for $50 and all the beer I could drink. And the guitar player for that band is he's actually one of my best friends now. He's notoriously cheap. So they didn't want to pay the local sound company anymore. They're like, oh, fucking Erik can mix it. And I'm like, Erik can what? Oh. And that was it. It was like I had this little 6-channel PV powered head mixer, and I'm figuring out what all these knobs do to, where to put and basically looking at like the local sound company, like, okay, what were those guys doing? And I would go see other local bar bands that had a full PA and had a full mixing console, and I would just kind of absorb that information and then apply it to my little 6-channel mixer that I had. And I still had no idea that this was like at the time I didn't even realize that touring artists had a crew.
Right.
Like I thought they had like guitar, like there's some guy that tunes the guitars and some guy that drives the bus and probably some guy that counts the money. And I thought everybody else was local. I really did. So I went to go work for the local sound company because I thought, oh man, I'm going to get to go do all these shows at instead of paying to go to the arena to see all these shows, I'm going to be the fucking guy.
Right. How'd that work out?
It took me 20 years to become the guy, but now I'm the guy. But yeah, I went there and I didn't know any of this. So I was fumbling around in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a pretty healthy grasp of, say, science and physics. I knew how music worked, but I'm still no good at playing it. And somehow I landed with Paul, where I had a job. And fortunately, since my dad being an electrical engineer and in the Air Force, we did all kinds of nerd projects like amateur radio, a lot of soldering, stuff like that. So I have a marketable skill at this point. I can go work for this guy and I can fix cables. I can fix circuit boards and load trucks. And the rest of the time, and that's literally a part-time job. I should have been doing that for maybe 15 hours a week.
Right.
But he literally paid me, God, this is like late 90s, early 2000s. So I was getting like $12-15 an hour to set up gear in a shop and learn. And it was like
That's
this
awesome.
Like take a old built in the 1800s warehouse. We were in the basement of this warehouse, and it's all concrete and brick, and it's low ceilings. And he would set up a wedge and a microphone and a 31 band EQ, and like, here, get it loud without feeding back, and then walk away. And then he'd go do whatever he was doing in his office.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I had the entire shop at my disposal. I was like, I'm gonna plug this microphone into a compressor today because I'm gonna learn what that does.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah, like these. I learned all the pieces of gear. This is all analog stuff.
Right.
I would learn it inside and out. I knew it. Every preset on, say, the whatever reverb unit. I knew what every one of them did. I knew all their features. I had every microphone. I started doing stupid, crazy nerd projects with an old Clark Technique spectrum analyzer where I would take a speaker and I would plug a microphone into that spectrum analyzer. I would play pink noise to that speaker, and then I would twist the microphone around so I could actually see the polar pattern decay. So I could okay, so this is what a cardioid mic is, because I knew what the little, the paper that comes with the mic saying, oh, this is the rejection point. Then I would take a SM58 and be like, kind of is there, isn't it? Or then you get maybe some other cheaper microphones that they've copied and pasted whatever the major manufacturer did, and then I would put this cheap microphone and I would do the same thing. I'm like, well, that's a load of bullshit, stuff like that. And honestly, it wasn't until years and years later, where I've moved on and he's moved on, that I realized that this dude took me under his wing and paid me to learn this craft. Where
that's awesome.
Now we have people who pay a lot of money to go to a university to do the same thing, and quite literally, all I had to do was solder shit and sweep the floor. It was pretty cool.
Hey, what's happening, roadies? It's Larry here. Just wanted to thank you so much for listening to this short clip. I really hope you got something out of it. If you can take 2 seconds to head over to iTunes and drop us a review or a comment, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Keep listening, keep coming back, stay healthy out there, and remember, no roadies, no rock and roll.